Good morning, and apologies for my tardiness this morning. I was busy trying to clear a space. We have lots going on in the Love-a-Duckie lily pad today. I've got a class this afternoon. I've got bingo packs sort of ready to go out the door, or nearly ready to go out the door. So I've been die cutting bits. I've got bits of card all round my feet. So busy. And I suddenly thought, oh my goodness me, I actually needed to find some space in which to go live this morning. So I was busy clearing up. But here I am now. So good morning on a very bright and sunny day. I think it's going to be another warm one. I have got the fan on behind me. If it is being too noisy, do let me know. I'm going to open the window as well, just because that gives a little bit of a through breeze. Oh, the dog's saying, "What are you doing? You're making noise. I'm out of here." I'm going off down the garden. It's all too noisy. Morning, Caroline. The dog is now at the bottom of the garden giving me dirty looks because I've been noisy. He doesn't do noise. And they're busy doing work next door, so they're being noisy enough without me making noise in here as well. So yes, if the fan in the background does sound very loud, I don't know how much it's picking up, do let me know. But it is making the difference between operating and not operating at the moment. So we have our cup of tea in favourite mug. Yay, it's a good day when you've got favourite mug day. And that one's coming out the dishwasher. And we're going to play with Rooted in Nature. Yet we haven't played with this for quite some time, really. It is one that's been around for a little while. It's we had for so many years. We had Lovely as a Tree, which was gorgeous, and we all loved it. And this is the stamp set, I think, that really is trying to fill those shoes. And of course, there is dies to go with this that we didn't have with Lovely as a Tree. But trees and leaves and those sorts of things, they're always useful to have as part of your arsenal of stamp sets, because they're just so brilliant particularly for masculine cards. You can use them for sympathy cards, get well, so many things that you can use them for, so always good to have. Morning, Em. So we're going to have a bit of a play with Rooted in Nature. So I've got a couple of ideas. So I've got my Stamparatus here, and you will notice that I have already put lots of stamps on this plate. Now, Rooted in Nature, you can tell it's been around for a little while because I haven't got the stickers on the back of mine. I never used to put the stickers on the back when they weren't cling. Excuse me. So these were pre-cling. I could perhaps actually adapt them now, particularly now that we've got those cling strips that are available in the catalogue. So you can make any of your old stamps cling stamps these days. So I may well do that and turn this into a cling stamp as well. But for now, we have a whole collection of the big tree and all the leaves going round it. And I've got three colours of cardstock here. I have got just jade, cinnamon cider, and some soft suede. And I saw something on a Facebook page this morning, and I thought, oh, that's quite a nice idea. Let's play with that idea. Let's see where that takes us. So I'm going to cut these colours of cardstock so that I have got three pieces that are 13.9 by 9.5. And one more for luck. Oh, excuse me, a bit sniffly again this morning. It's amazing that I wasn't yesterday. It just doesn't seem to be any logic to it. I suppose it just depends what pollens are blowing this way, which way the wind blows, who's cut their grass. Right, so we have 3 pieces of cardstock, just jade, soft suede and cinnamon cider. Let's start with our just jade. Now what I didn't do was mark my starting point, so I think there looks right, doesn't it? So let's take that piece of Morning Jane, Morning Glenda, let's take that piece of washi tape just there and put it across. That's 2 hands would be better, Helen. We'll just put it there because that will then give us a marker to say that is where you want that to go. Now I'm just going to, yep, that's okay. I'm just going to catch the edges with my magnet so it doesn't move. Right, and now I'm going to take Early Espresso ink. So we've got 3 different colour cardstocks. We've got a dark brown ink, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to ink all of these up with Early Espresso. Let's take a box and pop it under there because that just makes that a little bit easier. So tap, tap, tap. Is everybody looking inky? I think so. And then we're going to stamp that. So we've got our tree with all the leaves coming round it, stamped onto some Just Jade card. I'm going to take that off of there. I'm going to bring in the cinnamon cider, line it up in exactly the same place. Ooh. Ink it up. And stamp. There we have cinnamon cider with Early Espresso. And last but not least, let's line that up, catch those corners, and stamp that. Morning, Jeanette. Oh, that tree didn't stamp very well, did it? Let us line that back up and hope that we haven't wiggled that too much. And it is this side of the tree that seems to have missed. That's better. The wonders of Stamparatus. Okay, so I'm going to move that out. I'm going to flip that over so that those doesn't make it too messy. And then I'm going to take these 3 pieces of card. I'm actually going to take my mini trimmer, I think, for this one. Now then, this was 13.9, wasn't it? So 3s into 13.9 goes 4.4. 6 1/3. That's right, isn't it? So I'm going to cut this. I'm going to cut 2 of these at 4.6, and then the other one will be a smidge bigger. But the fact that I've got all 3 laying on top of each other means that they will be the same. So 4.6. Morning, Jackie. .6, and that one's probably 4.7, but that's okay. And then what we're going to do is we're going to mix and match. So that needs to be cinnamon cider, that needs to be just jade, and that needs to be So what you'll eventually have is the makings of 3 cards. But we'll just go on to make 1 for now, but you can see that you can very quickly go on and make 2 more. So which one shall we have? Let's put these 2 to one side for now, and we'll just go for this one in the middle. And I also grabbed some early espresso cardstock. Just wondering. Do I want to go very vanilla? Do I want to go brown on very vanilla or very vanilla on brown? That is the question. I quite like the very vanilla matte on the brown card. I think that is the way we are going to go. And I think I'm going to make this a side opening. The hay fever is back this morning, Jane. What the heck? There is no rhyme nor reason. These things are sent to try us. It's going to be a particularly hot one today as well, I think. So it's quite funny because I just sit here with my fan going. I've got a little fan on my desk that I can have on if I want, but I've got a bigger fan that's behind me, sort of blowing on the back of my head, and it just is lovely. And I sat here yesterday, and everybody came home and complaining about how hot it was, and I'm thinking it's been warm, but I've been overly bothered by it. But that's why, because I've just got my fan here permanently blowing on me. We don't have such thing as air conditioning or any of those sorts of things. We don't have enough hot weather to make that a viable option. And of course my craft room is based in the conservatory as well, which obviously automatically makes it quite warm. One of these days when I've got spare pennies, I'll do something and make it so it's not quite so warm, but for now my fan will do. Yeah, you said the other day you'd had dull days. It's been really quite warm here. But I was watching I think after you said that the other day, I was watching the weather report, and they'd said something about the differences depending on where you were. So let us put this together. Yeah, I think just jade. Soft suede and cinnamon cider. That's quite a nice colour combo, isn't it? I'm thinking, greeting wise, we've got this little gap down there that I didn't worry about too much because I thought that would be perfect actually for a greeting. I'm just thinking what greeting to put in there. Flicking through my stamp sets, I need to invest in a few more just sentiment ones. I think they're the sort of things that aren't exciting, so you pass them by, but there are times when you really could do with them, and this is one such occasion. Sorry if you're getting full blast of the fan there. Sorry I can't make it cool you down at the same time. Let's go with, this is the fabulous here's a card. I made you a card because you're worth it. But I think we'll just have happy birthday. We won't stamp it on that though because that's ready for something else. That's for our next card. Oh, oh, oh! I don't know why I started back at the beginning, Jane. Hopefully, it's very odd. You don't want that. You don't want me on me repeat. Whatever next. Oh, sorry if I'm sniffing. Just a silly old nose. No, that's too big, I think. Too big. That looks better. Let's see. This is the From a Grand Kid stamp set, which is another new one that has lots of sentiments that you can use with your grandchildren and things, but obviously other reasons as well. I particularly love the no amount of money could ever show you how much I love you, but here's some anyway. That looks a bit neater, as if it's going to be better fit in there. Quite a quirky font, isn't it? In fact, what I might do is take my scissors, and actually it's quite a nice font for snipping down. Well, at least it's not just me, Emma. That's useful to know. Going mouldy. There, that's quite fun. It's quite a nice sort of clean and simple look. Wonder what it is in the air today then, ladies, that's causing us all to be sniffly today when we were all right yesterday. Perhaps there's some farmers hay baking or something somewhere today that's popping some bit more pollen up in the air than they did yesterday. That is a fun font. Let's pop that on there. Oh. The twine had got caught up somewhere. I think I'm going to we'll just have a bit of linen thread coming round here. Could do with a bit more, so let's pull that up there and pull that down there. Give ourselves a bit more slack. So obviously you could do this technique with all sorts of stamps, all sorts of colours. You can make it really girly. Excellent, Molly. That's good to hear. I like seeing your artwork come up on Facebook. Molly says she likes making birthday cards and Christmas cards. You're in the right place, Molly. So do we. There we go. So we've just got a bit of nonsense going on the side there. Obviously, I will need to do an insert for that, because you can't write on dark brown card. Well, not unless you're using a white or gold pen or something. So that's just a bit of a fun card, but just using that idea of the different strips. And as I say, I can go on and make 2 more, and you could very quickly, particularly with your Stamparatas, when you've got them all lined up like that, you could very quickly be mass producing and whizzing out a whole load of cards with that technique. Now I haven't wet my my cleaner, so I'm just going to pop those stamps to one side, because there's one thing at the moment in the winter, if I haven't wet it, the chances are it'll still be a little bit damp the next day. At the moment, it's as stiff as a board. It is very definitely dried out overnight. But yes, so good fun idea, and obviously you can emboss them, you can do all sorts of things. And you could do it in 3 strips, 4 strips, 2 strips. You could make it quilted, you could cut it in 4. You could really play about with that general idea of just taking 3 pieces of card, stamping exactly the same thing, and then cutting them up into sections. Good fun. And you could do that. So with our background stamps yesterday, you could do backgrounds, couldn't you? And then sort of do like quilted backgrounds almost. That would be good fun. So that's that one. And then we've still got some stamps we haven't used. I wanted to get this tree trunk in somewhere, because that's good fun. We've used all our leaves. We've used this nice big stamp that's really beautiful. I do love that. But I thought we'd have this stamp here. We'll use this stamp here. We might come in with some of the others. We will see where the mood takes us. I'm going to have another piece of soft suede. But I need to cut a piece that's 14.4 by 10, I think. So there's 10, there's 14.4. And I'm going to take this nice big tree trunk stamp, and we're going to use soft suede on soft suede. That happy birthday is lovely, Molly. I do like that font. It's a lovely stamp set actually. So as I say, some of it is, you know, for your best grandkid ever, amazing grandson, just an extraordinary granddaughter, but things like so proud of you, like this, so smart, so fun, so sweet, and so wonderful, we must be related. Yeah, nice congratulations there. But so some are very definitely for your grandchildren, but others you could use for all sorts of things. And you could also sort of mask things, so you could have to an amazing and then put one of the friend stamps in there, or best friend ever, or best, you know, we've got stamps that have got husband or whatever and those sorts of things. Add those in. You could make them the best whatever ever dog. So we're going to take some soft suede ink on this soft suede card, and we're going to make ourselves a tree trunk background, because we can. You never know, we might want to come back in and use that happy birthday, we'll see. Let's have a little bit of a tree trunk just there, and a tiny bit of a tree trunk just there, so it does look as if we've cut that from a bigger hole as in a whole piece of card rather than a hole in the ground. So that's going to be our background. And then I've got here a piece of shimmery white cardstock, and I'm going to dig in to my stamping white markers. Now, what colours shall we have? Have a nice bright green. Possibly crushed curry. I haven't got any of the new ones yet. Shaded spruce. Let's go for those. So shaded spruce, crushed curry, granny apple green. So I'm going to take my block and I'm going to colour it in. So I think we'll go shaded spruce at the top. Then we'll bring in some granny apple green in the middle. going to blend a bit there, so I'll just scribble that off onto my paper so that getting that different colour off of the end of the pen. Let's blend that in together as well. Right, so we've got Shaded Spruce, Granny Apple Green, Crushed Curry. Let's find a spritzer. And let's spritz our block. And as you add the water, you can see the ink bubbling up onto the surface. And then we're going to take our piece of shimmery white and go slurp. I love the way that slurps underneath. Beautiful. Right, let me just take a piece of kitchen towel and dab that surface. That's rather pretty. Those colours look rather nice together. So a bit of smooshing. It's always very satisfying the way that the card seems to grab the ink and the colour off of the block. Just sort of slurp it up. Just like that. Right, let's heat that up a bit. Hello, Caroline. I've got a few little splodges on there. That's okay. I might trim that corner off. We'll see. Or put my greeting there. So I'm just going to give that a bit of a dry because I want to stamp on the top of it. So now we're going to take our tree stamp. We're going to have that so it's coming off the edge a little bit, and I think possibly we'll go in with Shaded Spruce because what do we want to do? No, let's come soft suede because we're having soft suede in the background. Right, how clean is my block? Let's give that a good dry. Ooh, not quite wide enough. Let's come with the bigger one. Perfect. Tap, tap, tap all over. And then, as I say, we want it to come off the edge. Beautiful. So we've got our tree trunks in the background. We've got our tree in the front. Let's find some Shaded Spruce card. I think would work quite nicely with that. Do we want a card base there, or are we just going to go with, just thinking that with the white on the front it probably would look nice with a spot of white on the back as well. Alternatively, we could you can't find what you're looking for. There we go. No, I think we'll make it a white card base. We do keep playing around, but that's what you need to do, is just have a play, put things together. Does that work? When you haven't yet committed yourself in terms of sticking it down, that's not a problem. So let's get a bit of shaded spruce for a mat. So we'll want that to be 14.4 centimetres by 10 centimetres. That will go on there, that will go on there, that will go on there. Might need to trim that down a bit, and then that can come on here. Now the other thing I think I might bring in is we've got these wooden embellishments that come from the, is it Tasteful Textures? Yes, In Good Taste Elements. Perhaps going to add one of those in to that sort of wood theme. And we'll have a little bit more linen thread. In fact, I might double that over. Let's double that over and do a little double bow with it. So I'm just going to snip that off. So I've got a double length, a folded length, tie a bow with it. And then tweak it a bit. Ooh, let's try again with that. That wasn't very central. Don't ever get frustrated because your bows don't work the first time. They rarely do. So we'll have a bit of a tweak with that. We'll cut that folded end and trim that end. We'll have that coming here somewhere with this piece of this wooden embellishment. Top there, and then we just need a greeting of some sort. Now a happy birthday might be quite nice on there, but I don't think we want it in early espresso, so let's grab that, and because my we'll spritz it with some water and clean it that way, where there's a will. And then we'll turn this piece of card over on the other side, and then we will stamp it in soft suede. We don't want that on there really, do we? Because we want it on white. Come along, Helen. Let's find a bit of white card. Ooh. That might have been white in a former life. It's not white now. Right. I'm going to trim it off this end. I do believe we could get that to be an inch wide, and if we can get that to be an inch wide, we could give it a fancy end. So let's push that right in there. Look at that, just like that. Okay, let's stick this one together. Where's our little bow gone? glue. So I'm going to stick my soft suede onto my Shaded Spruce, and then I'm going to stick my Shaded Spruce flat onto my card base. I'm going to take some dimensionals and we'll put this up. Some dimensionals. And we'll have that on there. Then I'm going to take a glue dot. Where are you, glue dots? Let's take our little double bow. We'll have that just up there where that bit of a blob is. And then another couple of glue dots to pick up this wooden embellishment, and we'll have that coming down here. And then we've got our happy birthday, which I think we'll put a dimensional it's looking quite stark, that happy birthday. And if I'm not going to re-ink that, just going to stamp over the top, a bit of glue this end and a dimensional that end. And then also in that little pack of wooden embellishments, wherever I have put them, where are you? There they are. There is also, oh, where are they? Some little wooden spots. Here they are. There's either little wooden dots or little crosses. So I think I'm going to take a couple of the dots. I'll just pop those out. Oh, it's not broken in half, it's just a bit's come off the back, but that's okay. And then we'll have a couple of those on here. Obviously you can't have things in twos, needs to be ones, threes. Have a third one on there. And they're quite fun because on the one side they're obviously quite dark where the laser's been used to cut them. You've got sort of almost like these slight scorching. And then the other side they're really quite white. You can colour them, So you could use your stamping blends or something to colour them if you wanted to. So a little bit of playing with Rooted in Nature. A couple of different cards. We've got our smooshy technique, which is always good fun. And we've got this technique where we stamped onto 3 different colour cards, split them in 3, and then divided them to make, well, ultimately it could make 3 cards. This one is a happy birthday. We could make that get well. You could change the style of the font. It could very easily be a sympathy card, thinking of you, happy retirement, all sorts of things. So good fun playing with the Rooted in Nature stamp set. But it's a good job you can't see what's going on around me, I tell you. The Rooted in Nature stamp set that's just packed with tree trunks and leaves and trees. Got this fantastic big thinking of you and you are wonderful. These are really nice. Be strong, be happy, be you. That's one I've used quite a lot. Words are never enough. That's quite a good one for a sympathy card. So a really fabulous stamp set, and of course there are, as I say, dies to go with that as well. But we haven't used dies today, we've just gone with the stamps. So I hope you enjoyed that. Where are we? Tomorrow is Thursday, isn't it? So I'll be back in the morning to see what we're going to play with tomorrow. So have fun, have a lovely day, and see you soon.